Well, we went to West High together and we had similar friends and we met in the freshman wing. We would eat there every day. And that's kind of how we met and started hanging out from there. We started as friends. We were just friends, and then I honestly don't know what I was into, but I was into him, so. But I was only 15, so.
Going back to when we very first met would have been freshman year of high school in the freshman wing at West High, where we both graduated from. Met during lunch break, I want to say in like spring semester. Started eating lunch together with some common friends, and yeah, that was my first exposure to meeting Mikaela, and kind of from there. Really hit it off, and dated for a year in high school from that, and now almost 10 years later, now here we are.
In high school, I don't remember there being a first date, but our first date, when we kind of rekindled as we were older, we went to the restaurant downtown Iowa City, Baroncini's, and it was kind of a big deal because we had been on and off for so long, and but it was a really nice dinner. We split a bottle of wine. It was super fancy, and it was fun.
So our first date would have been a dinner date our senior year of college, when we had gotten back together later in college and started dating. Went out to a restaurant in Iowa City, actually, Baroncini's. Wanted to take her on a nice date night, and she loves Italian food, so went out to dinner there, and then end of the night, going out with friends, hitting the town, just being seniors in college. So yeah, that was our first official date.
I was at his college apartment, and I was having trouble with something like personal, and he cared about what I was saying, and I was like, oh, you care? Like what? And it was that moment where he showed so much comfort and care that I was like, this might work out. So.
The weird thing was that it wasn't really a singular moment where I was like, oh, she's the one. It was kind of over the course of time where we had, moved out to Denver in the middle of COVID. Summer of 2020, we both moved out there. Really uncertain time with everything going on. She, being a teacher, she kind of took a leap of faith, being like, I don't really know what I'm getting myself into. But she moved out there for me. And, that really meant a lot to me. And, kind of getting through those first 6-7 months of living out there together. And I was always a proponent of, before you get engaged, you have to know how it is to live together, because it's a test run. And, kind of combining that with, living together for 6-7 months, I was like, all right, this summer 2021, I'm like, all right, I think I'm gonna do it.
It was Sam. It was definitely Sam. He said, I love you first, and it was when we were just hanging out at my total small bogus apartment in Cedar Falls, and we were just hanging out, and he said it first. And that was actually the first day that we officially started dating.
It was definitely me. It was after a few months of dating. It was in her college apartment in Cedar Falls. It was a very stereotypical college apartment. But yeah, I drove up there for a weekend and visited her. And, we've been dating, like I said, for a few months. And, kind of had that history behind us. So that kind of definitely impacted things. But yeah, I was definitely the first one to say it. And it definitely caught her off guard because she was not expecting it. But yeah, I was hand up, I was the first one to say it.
I was really oblivious. I had no idea what was going on. I just thought we were going on another date to our favorite restaurant, Baroncini's. We went back to the place. I probably could have put it together, but we went to the place of our first date of our officially dating. And we were eating there and everything, and towards the end of dinner, he was getting he looked nervous, and I was like, is everything okay? He's sweating, and his palms were sweaty, and right before I had gone to the bathroom, and I came back, and he just looked so nervous, and I didn't know what was wrong. I was like, are you okay? And he reached across the table and grabbed my hand. His hands were sweating, and then he got on a knee. So it was very it was very sweet, very private. There was probably like one table that saw everything happen, and he asked me, and I said yes, and it was very sweet. And then after that, it was so funny. We went outside and it started pouring raining because we were gonna walk to the View to meet some friends. Because he said like, oh yeah, we'll go meet like 2 of our friends. So we had to get an Uber and we rode there. And I was like, we walked in. I'm looking for our 2 friends, like sitting in a booth, and he pulled me to turn into like the private area, and like all of our friends and family were there. It was all set up and decorated, and I was just shocked and felt so loved, and it was really awesome. So it was a good day.
So took her out to dinner to our first date restaurant, Baroncini's, here in Iowa City. It was summer 2021, and we were home for a few weeks during the summer over the 4th of July, and I kind of spun it to her as, hey, we're going to be home. Let's just go out on a date night. I liked to think she had no idea, but kind of skeptical. She's never admitted to me that she knew, but that's just me being paranoid. Took her out to dinner, like I said, and leading up to dinner, no nerves at all, was totally just like, this will be easy. And then, get to dinner, still no nerves. The only nerves were walking to dinner. I had to transfer the big ring from my back pocket to my front pocket, and had to do that in a slick way, and had her walk in front of me, and she was a little bit like, what are you doing? I'm like, oh, just no, nothing, it's fine. But then get to dinner, nerves are all fine, get through dinner, nothing, and then we get the check, and I'm just like, oh shit, all right, it's crunch time, it's like, here we go. And finally got the check, paid, got down on one knee, popped the question, and I don't remember what I said. I totally blacked out and forgot. But I, asked, popped the question. She said yes. And then afterwards, I had planned a surprise party at the View with, all our family and friends or whatever. And we're about to leave the restaurant, and it starts pouring rain, just downpouring. And we're just like laughing, like, this is crazy. Find an Uber, run into the Uber as fast as we can, and head over to the View. And I'm just like, I spun it as, hey, a couple of our friends are going to meet us, like they knew about it, like celebratory drinks or whatever. And walk into the private room up there, and all our family and friends are there, and surprise. And that was the second layer of the surprise of the whole night, that I knew she had no idea of. And I think that's the part I'm most proud of, was because I really do value like all our family and friends who've been involved with us throughout our whole relationship, and I really wanted them to be involved in the night.
I think he's like the hardest worker I've ever met, and he wants to make a name for himself and do things himself, and he just works really hard. But I also really love about him is his caring personality. He always makes sure that I'm doing okay, and if I need help with anything, like I know I can go to him because it's not like a burden to ask him. Like he's always happy to help. So
the one thing I like best about Mikaela is just how laid back she is. And there's a lot of girls out there that are very high maintenance and very in which that's fine, like that's who they are. But I'm not the type of guy that would really mesh well with that, where just high maintenance, really needy. I'm more of a laid back personality, and I mesh well with that type of personality. And so Mikaela being just really laid back, good sense of humor, likes to have a good time, but also is okay with just hanging out and watching Netflix and stuff like that. It's it's just a really good match for me. And I sometimes take it for granted just because I'm so used to it. And sometimes I see other people out there where it's like they have relationships where the other person is very high maintenance, and they're happy in that. But I'm just like, I don't know if I could ever do that. I'm pretty happy where I'm at.
I would say I'm more of a morning person, and he's more of a night owl, I would say. Like if I get up in the morning, I'll be fine. I won't be that cranky unless it's like something serious, like we drove 12 hours from Iowa to Denver. But he's not so much of a morning person, I feel like.
biggest difference. I mean, a cheap answer would be our ability to cook. You know, I'm always, you know, trying to teach her tricks in the kitchen, and you know, I joke with our friends and family. You know, I probably cook 95% of the meals in the house, which, you know, I love to cook, so like that's fine. But I just always like to give her crap for, you know, like, hey, why don't you hop in the kitchen and make dinner tonight? And she's just like, yeah, no, because then you'll just start taking over. And I'm just like, oh yeah, you know, you're doing it wrong. But you know, that's the cheap answer for our biggest difference. But I mean, honestly, I would say our biggest difference, a real answer, would be our level of patience. I would say sometimes I lose my patience with her a little bit more than she loses her patience with me, because I know that I can certainly be a handful with, you know, cracking jokes or just, you know, trying to get under her skin. And she has been super patient with me, just, you know, throughout our entire relationship, kind of just putting up with my bullshit. And, you know, I sometimes I do take it for granted, but honestly, just kind of reflecting back, I do realize, you know, how lucky I am to find someone who is, you know, I'll be cracking jokes and just being annoying to her, but, you know, at the end of the day, she'll still love me for who I am and, you know, move on to the next day with me.
Sam. Okay, wait. Sam. Okay, that was practice. Okay. Sam, I am so nervous, but also I'm so excited to become your wife, and I'm really excited for our future journey together, and I really can't believe that, like, if I was talking to my 15-year-old self, my 15-year-old self would be shocked. 15, 16, 17-year-old self would be absolutely shocked that this is happening. But I love you more than words can describe, and I'm really excited for this weekend. And I know it's been stressful and it's been hard to plan such an elaborate event, but I hope we can look back on this together and think of how wonderful the people are around us and how much love is shown in not only this video but the pictures, and we can look back on the day and always think happy thoughts, because it's going to be an amazing day. And I love you to the moon and back times a million plus one.
Hey, Mikaela. You know, honestly, I really can't believe that we're at this point. It still hasn't really hit me yet. As you know, things don't really hit me until we're in the moment. But it's, you know, it's slowly starting to hit me. And I just want to tell you, you know, how fortunate and how lucky I am to be able to be marrying you. You know, we've had a crazy ride this far, been through a lot, and you know, I'm a very lucky guy to have such a beautiful and great fiance, and I'm gonna be even that much luckier to have such a beautiful and great wife. And it still sounds weird to say, but you know, it's gonna be set in stone on Saturday in 4 days, and I'm so excited for it to finally be here and for us to take that next step in our relationship. And you know, I just want you to know that you mean the world to me and that I love you, and I can't wait for you to be my wife and for us to, you know, continue living life together and to go through the ups and downs and to make memories and go on adventures and just to do life together. I love you.